Pathmonk is the AI for website conversions. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50% by adding Pathmark to your website in seconds, by letting the AI do all the work and increase conversions while you keep the marketing as usual. Check us out on pathmark.com. Hey everybody, welcome back to Pathmark Presents. Today we're joined by Teri Ryan. Teri is the regional manager at Olansky Dermatology and Aesthetics. We're happy to have her and excited to jump into this conversation. Teri, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Of course. So, as I said, excited to get it going, Terry. Maybe we start with the basics. Tell us a little bit about on Lansky, dermatology and aesthetics. Tell us what's the big idea behind your clinic, and if you were explaining this to a friend over coffee, how would you describe what you do, what your role is?
Um, I'm the regional aesthetics manager for Olansky Dermatology. We're a four-clinic dermatology and aesthetics practice. Um, my role includes visits to all four of our clinics. I am all over the place and managing our aesthetics department. Um, our practice is unique in that we really pride ourselves in being patient, team, and community focused, so that we can provide compassionate skin health for our patients across their lives. I
That
am guiding our estheticians and our aesthetic injectors so that they can serve our patients in a way that helps them feel aligned with who they are on the inside, matching up with how they present themselves to the world.
that sounds like a hard job, to be honest with you, Terry. As you said, you're all over the place, and of course, physically too, right? To check in with the other with the other businesses, essentially, right? That they're all separate businesses, are all part of one. But I'm curious because you just touched on, your in marketing lingo, that would be the ICP, the ideal customer profile, right? So in this case, we're talking about patients. It's a little bit different from what we're typically used to talk about. But tell us a little bit more about your patients, the type of essentially of clients that come in, and what are they typically looking for? What's the key problem that you would say you help them solve on Lansky?
Yeah, I love that question. And I'm always trying to know our patients in that way, and why they would choose us. And we are really different from your typical med spa in that we are board certified dermatologists. Our estheticians been working within a medical practice for some of them decades. And so our patients come to us because of our knowledge and our experience and not following trends. With
Mm.
TikTok and Instagram, it's really hard to know uh, what skincare trends are worth the money or the time and which aren't. And so the patients that come to us, they really want us to share our expertise and our knowledge, and we really try to give that to them.
That's amazing. I mean, even just for the nature of the business, people do need education, I'm sure. They might have so many questions when they come to you and maybe even confused by the trends that you mentioned on TikTok or, the skincare routines or whatever product is trending at the moment, right? In all of that confusion, I'm sure they need someone to actually, as a guiding light, if you will, to help them go through maybe a specific treatment or something that they're looking for. Now, I'm curious, how do most of these people discover you eventually? And to get a little bit more technical, are there any marketing channels that have become your go-to for bringing in more of those people?
Yeah, that is a great question. Um, we want to capitalize on the patients that we have here in dermatology to convert them to our aesthetic. We feel strongly that the best customer is the one that's already in the building, right? So our
Hmm.
dermatology patients are coming here often because they don't have a choice. You know, they've have an eczema flare up, they're struggling with acne, they've got warts. And so when they come in here and see our physicians, a lot of times, you know, have the question, thank you so much for my eczema, but I've got some lingering hyperpigmentation or scarring. Or, oh, while I'm in here, what can I do about these wrinkles? And we really try to take every advantage of those patients and convert them over to our aesthetic department. We use a software called MedCenter actually. So whenever a patient is in our dermatology clinic, that provider can drop a note into MedCenter that gets to our aesthetic team, and then we're following up on those leads. We're calling them, we're sending text messages until we get them over to the aesthetics department. We do use the other typical channels for marketing our website. We've got Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and we do a lot of, you know, going back to our values as a practice, a lot of community focused. We just this past Saturday did free skin checks at the local farmers market. It's a great way to like get out in the community, people that don't realize we're just down the street.
Yeah, I love those initiatives because typically, maybe you're out and about, just going about your day. You're going to the market, you're looking for produce, and then you are reminded somehow that you might need that you are looking, to book an appointment or maybe go do a check and so these pop-ups, this kind of like uh, this presence essentially is a way for you to, of course, get more visibility, but also to show your expertise, to show the value of your services, and to get people eventually to the practice and start a journey, if you will, with them, right? So that's a great way
Right.
to
And
market yourself.
relationship.
Of course, of course, and
Yes.
that's a huge one.
You know, things are changing. Things are changing so much with online marketing. I think there's so much of it. It has the real potential to just be like spam. You know,
Mhm.
I find myself not really looking at so much kind of LinkedIn, why we have so much success referring our dermatology patients to our aesthetics department is that that trust is already built in. And really spending time this year trying to take that same trust that we have in clinic and put that out there into our marketing as best as we can.
Hmm. That is a great point. I mean, specifically about relationships, just in the sense that at the end of the day, whatever service you offer, whatever product you sell, even the saying, people buy from people. So if you don't connect somehow on a
Sure.
human level with them, then it's going to be really hard that they'll trust you. That there's a plethora of issues really that potentially stem off of that. So. Um, of course, in person is the best, but I have to ask about, the channels and the marketing. Of course, most of our listeners here are interested in understanding, okay, how do you get these people in, right? So one of the questions that I wanted to ask you is about your website. How much of a role does your website play in pulling in new consultations, maybe new business, essentially? Is there anything about it that you think really works right now, or maybe things you got your eyes on improving?
Right. Well, with AI and the all of the chats that are popping up, that's really changed how people find your website with SEO. And we're working through some of those right now. I mean, to be honest with you, we're kind of in that messy middle where we've
Hmm.
seen some changes with how our website is or is not sending patients our way and trying to reevaluate that and change with those times. I think, you know, adding more organic photos and doubling down on what we best instead of trying to, you know, if you're a millennial, you were probably taught that, we really have to be well-rounded and be everything to everyone. And I think when we're trying to do that on a website or on social media, that we're nobody to anybody, right? And just trying to highlight and showcase what we really do well, even if it tends to move us a little bit more niche, you know. And
Mm.
so that's something that, as I said, I'm just really kind of in the messy middle right now with that and trying to figure that out and see what works. Um, and really doing as much research and talking to experts as I can to hopefully guide us in stronger SEO standing.
No, that's a great way to go about it. From your experience, Terry, maybe you just touched on it, right? You talked about the pictures and uh, what actually makes a website convert, in your opinion? Is it something like that? Do you have maybe favorite tools or tactics, even that have worked wonders for you to say, being a little bit more niche, as you said, working with your messaging? What's worked for you so far, and what do you think is actually still working after time that you've looked at the business?
Yeah, I think, of course, ease of scheduling. You don't want the the scheduling of an appointment to take too much time. Ease of information. If you're trying to look something up on the website, like what are your hours, that needs to be visible. Um, I I'm a strong believer in that you never want to be a hassle to do business with. And so any pop-ups tend to be annoying for patients when at times when we have to do that, like if there's an unexpected closure due to a snowstorm, which is huge here in Atlanta. If it snows, everyone shuts down. Those sorts of pop-ups tend to be aggravating to patients, trying to limit anything that's annoying. And also putting, our phone number up there. Anybody in the healthcare field, you're seeing a wide range of ages that you cater to. And there's always going to be that older population that just wants to talk to somebody and ask a question, and making sure that is available to them, that they're calling and they're getting a live person on the phone, so that the website um, does offer options beyond the website, right? Um,
Mm.
and that they can give us a call. So online, I guess, online booking, ease of information, and not being trapped on that website.
Mm. Okay, I like that because it sounds like all the things you said, the easy scheduling, the phone number being available and easily, findable there, are all basics in a way, right? So get me to where I need
Right?
to be, get me the information I need, and give it to me fast, right? So all great
Yes.
things, the ABCs of a website essentially. Terry, I appreciate the knowledge and your experience you're sharing here. I want to switch gears for a second, maybe talk about you as a leader, as a regional aesthetics manager. What's a typical workday look like for you? You said earlier in the beginning, you're all over the place, right? So, what are the main things you focus on a day to day, and what's a day in the life of Terry like?
Um, Great question. That is a constantly moving project for me.
Hmm.
I find that for years I have had the same morning and sort of in the day routine. And those are pretty solid that I stick to. Um, Starting from at home, I get up first thing in the morning and I have journaled every day for years. And it's just a great way to kind of like do a mind dump of what I'm thinking about that day, what I kind of want to get done, how I'm feeling about doing that, um, and getting ready for work. I do not talk to people on the phone when I'm in the car. That's my quiet time, um, or I try not to. And then getting into the office, I make a lap around whatever clinic I'm in that day just to like say hi, let people know that I'm here. I sit down and do 30 minutes of email. I set a timer. It's easy for me to just really get sucked in sometime and just trying to answer what really needs to be answered. Um, and spending about an hour and a half working on minutia and tasks so that in the afternoon, when I'm more in a focus mood, I can focus on larger projects. All that being
Mm,
said, this is healthcare, and there are going to be 30 things that pop up that I hadn't planned. Um, and you just got to be able to roll with it. So I do try to just allow for some flexibility in the middle of that day. Otherwise, you're just going to be miserable. I have a an alarm on my phone at 3:45 to remind myself the day's ending and to try to
mm.
begin that process of shutting it down. Um, I like having the middle a little bit more variable too, just so I don't get bored. If it was completely regimented all day long, that would make me kind of sad.
I see that and I can relate to it personally 100%. And I really like the structure that you have for the startup side of your day. You have pretty much strict rules around how much you value your time and your attention and focus, it sounds like. And also at the end of the day, right? Because many people, I think that's a great idea to set a timer and say, hey, this is shutdown time. Don't take on any new tasks. This is not a time for emails. You're going into in a way, you're shifting into a different, even identity in a sense, because, I'm sure you'll go home and you'll have your things to do, or your chores and people you love that you speak to. And it's a different mindset, right? It's a different pace, even. So, having that structure, I think that's really helpful. I'm gonna take a note for myself personally. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. Those transitions are important. Um,
Agreed. Yeah. Speaking of transitions, Terry, we're towards the end of our time together here on the back half of the episode. So typically, what we do to close off before we wrap things up is a rapid fire segment, which does what it says on the tin, right?
okay, sure.
A few questions. Would you be ready for it?
Yeah,
Okay. So when it comes to
I'm ready.
content, consuming content, right? What's the format you prefer? Do you prefer watching, listening, or reading?
Listening or reading.
Okay. So, what's the latest piece of content you picked up? It could be a book, it could be an article, whatever you read. And were there any ideas or gems that really stuck with you in it?
I am really obsessed with a guy named Eugene Healy and his Substack and his Instagram stories. This is a smart guy based out of Sydney, Australia, and I love his discussions on branding, advertising, culture, and desire.
Okay, that's it's gonna be something I note down for myself personally. I'm not on social media as much, but a Substack I can definitely get behind. So, what's the name again?
It's great. Eugene Healy,
Perfect.
Healey.
Amazing. Thanks for that. Um, if you had a magic wand, Terry, and you could fix one frustrating thing in your life with tech, in the practice, at home, wherever, what would you pick?
I'm kind of getting at the age, I'm in my 40s, that I wish there was a way that I could extract some of what I know and put it in somebody else's mind without having to arduously explain um, my life experience that brought me to that conclusion. That would be, I'm introverted and would just love for somebody to read my mind.
I mean, that would be great, and it will save some frustration at times. To be honest, just to
Sure, sure.
even trying
It's
to
not without
articulate
its
something.
problems, but
Yeah.
it would be nice.
Yes, agreed, agreed. Maybe it's related to this, maybe not. I have a vague idea about what you're gonna answer to this, but I don't want to assume. What's one repetitive task that you love to put on autopilot forever?
Lunch and dinner. The worst question in the world to me is, what are we eating for dinner? Um, I am a creature of habit, and it's just like so simple to me to kind of just have a particular lunch or dinner that's a go-to so that I'm not also trying to think of that. I know that sounds silly. I do enjoy eating out and cooking on the weekends, but on the weeknight, I want the same three meals that are easy and on rotation.
Yeah, quick story here. I mean, you get along just fine with my wife because she hates it whenever I ask this
The
question.
worst
Uh,
question in the world.
and unfortunately, I think I passed it on to my son because the other day, as soon as he woke up, that's what he asked. Mom, what are we having for dinner? And so she messaged me right away. She's like, "What did you do? What have you done?" And so, so I'm sure, that's something that we need to figure
Yeah,
out as far as meal prep or something like that.
yeah, just put it in front of me and let's not think about it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Terry, again, I want to thank you so much for being part of the show and for sharing your insights with us today. I also want to give you the last word. If someone forgets everything about the interview today, what is the one thing that they should remember about Olansky and the work you guys are doing?
We really value our relationship with our patients. Um, we're great in the rooms and we love connecting with everybody that walks into this building. It's not just um, a mill where we're trying to run as many people through as possible. We enjoy our time with our patients and we want them to enjoy their time with us.
Love it. I mean, that's a great message, and I'm sure people will appreciate the message essentially behind it's it's quality over quantity, and that there's no better approach. I don't think, at least when it comes to healthcare, yeah, caring about people, treating them well. So thanks for that, Terry. And if people want to check you guys out, if people want to see, learn more about Olansky, how can they do that?
Yeah, we're at olanskydermatology.com. Um, Same handle for our Instagram. We are located in Atlanta, Georgia, as well as Roswell, Beaufort, and Cumming. Um, you can give us a call at 404-355-5484, and we would love to see you at our practice.
Perfect. Terry, thanks again for your words, for your insights, and for letting us know more about Lansky and the way you think, even about your workday and the things you do. Before we say our goodbyes, Terry, I want to say goodbye to our audience and thank you again for everything you did with us today. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right. See you soon, everyone.